individuals who are tearing down that Scooby-Doo art, who are tearing down Velma, who are tearing down the thought of race bending or adjusting any American iconography so it looks more like diverse people, you will see there is an overwhelming support for people who are traditionalists, even on the progressive side. I've had people, when I've had this conversation with my progressive friends, say, why the fuck would you want a black Velma? Why the fuck would you want a black Shaggy? At which I hear them like, why would I want black versions of white shows? But damn.
Right.
You against it? God damn. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it is a beautiful thing to say we should have our own Scooby-Doo. Damn it.
Yeah, right.
We should have our own Scooby-Doo. But we don't. With BeMo. There has been a war that has been happening in the fan art section of life, section of art, section of creativity that has waged, and there's already a winner and loser.
That's crazy.
This war, I saw a YouTube video this morning's title say that this war could actually have been the primer for the critical race theory conversation that's happening in politics and in American culture. To which I would say 1619 Project introduced the critical race theory into American culture. And then, of course, critical race theory itself introduced itself into American culture. But if you want to put this particular war into that, I understand, because Americans have a hard problem discerning between discovery and colonialism.
That's
so
crazy. Everything you said ties into later.
It does?
The
Perfect.
letter, yeah.
I love when we have a theme of the show. There was a war, sweetheart. And the war was lost by our people. Mm-hmm. The progressives, the liberators, the abolitionists, we lost this war. And I think it's my duty to tell you about it. There are two prominent reimaginations of classic American icons that have happened in America over the last year. Mm-hmm. One of which made $100 million plus over the weekend. That's The Little Mermaid. Another day, we'll talk about how ain't no black men in The Little Mermaid, but for right now, the reimagination of a white American icon as a black person has generated a financial success for Disney. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, which I think is more indicative of the status of the war, we have Velma. You can put up that first one, sweetheart. The Lady in the House, we watched Velma. Was it the greatest show we'd ever seen? No. Was it the worst thing that I've ever seen? Absolutely not. I'm looking at you, She-Hulk, because goodness gracious. I'm looking at you, season 4 of Ted Lasso. Yeah, I said it. Oh. Yeah, it wasn't good. Oh. Yeah, I said it.
Season 4 of Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Oh, Marvelous Miss Maisel, after she betrayed that black man? I'm looking at you. Right. Not a good show. But according to the IMDb reviews, the worst rated animated show in television history. Mm-hmm. Why am I telling you this? Because there is a war that has happened. Was Velma bad? Yes. Was it the worst animated television show in American history? Absolutely not. No. Go to the next one. So the Lady in the House, she brought up this article the other day. She said that Velma was the worst show. And then so we looked on IMDb to see what the other worst shows are. We have Late Night Lily. We have Santa Inc., which is two Jewish people producing the Christmas special. We have another woman-centric show. We have The View, which is woman-centric. We have Honey Boo Boo, which is woman-centric. We have The Kardashians, which is woman-centric. We have Ben 10, which is just uniquely trash. We have Chad, which is trans-centric. We have all these other shows. The Bachelors is woman-centric. We have all of these things, all of these shows that are woman-centric. Mm-hmm. And if you brown and woman, you all the way down the list. So it is not a surprise to me that Late Night with Lily Singh and Velma, two brown woman-led shows, are amongst the worst rated shows on IMDb. As a scientific note, I must also add that the ratings on IMDb are not from journalists.
No.
These are not from objective viewers. These are from the American people or the global person. BeMo, what you talking about, man? What the fuck going on? Here's what I'm saying. There was a war, and I think, Lady House, you can put up the next picture. Yeah. There was a war in the fan art community, deviant art, Tumblr to a certain degree, about race bending or fixing art. Fixing being, how do we make these animated symbols more inclusive of the American body? How do we turn a staple like Scooby-Doo, which is supposed to be a group of friends solving mysteries, how do we make that more representative of society now? So when an artist posts a picture like this one, when we have a black Scooby-Doo, we have not black Scooby-Doo, we have a black Shaggy, we have an Asian Daphne, we have a white Fred, and we have a brown Velma. You and I, maybe the progressives on this call, you and I is like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. Keep scrolling. This picture right here.
Also, by the way, with The Little Mermaid, can we also just mention that just from a scientific perspective?
No, not the video. The picture.
Okay, it doesn't make a
video up yet. Not yet. This picture before Velma was even in pre-production caused uproar on social media. And I'd love to tell you, sweetheart, that it was 50-50. There was 100 people on Twitter. 50 of them was like, man, this is pretty cool. The other 50 was like, what the fuck are we doing? It was 97-3. 97% of the people, or 97% of the stat that I just made up, thought that by race bending these characters, by making them more inclusive to the American people who currently live in America, that this somehow was a bastardization of Scooby-Doo. And therefore, inappropriate. Or, as the anti-fixer said, lacks artistic integrity. Well, I'm thirsty this morning. So, what's the war, BeMo? We had a war. We had a group of individuals who are trying to fix art by making it more inclusive. The 4 ways that they were making it more inclusive, I gotta look at my notes. They wanted to include more dark-skinned people. They wanted them to wear more non-traditional clothing outside of the Americana aesthetic. They wanted them to have non-archetypal bodies. All women in cartoons look the same. I don't understand what's up with that. And they also wanted the girls and women to be desexualized. Why? Because they felt like these 4 parts of representation would create a more diverse, a more wholesome view of what people are looking for in these iconic moments. And so the anti-fixers, they consider themselves traditionalists. On one hand, you have your fixers, people who are trying to make things more diverse. On the other hand, you have your anti-fixers, people who are more traditionalists. These are individuals who, like Matt Walsh, think that science plays a part in imagination. Play the video, sweetheart. Listen to this dumbass man.
Also, by the way, with The Little Mermaid, can we also just mention that just from a scientific perspective, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have someone with darker skin who lives deep in the ocean. I mean, if anything, not only should The Little Mermaid be pale, she should actually be translucent. If you look at deep sea creatures, they're like translucent. They have no kind of pigmentation whatsoever. And they're just like these horrifying, they look like skeletons floating around in the ocean. That's what The Little Mermaid should look like. She should be totally pale and skeletal, where you can see her skull through her face. And that would actually be a version of Little Mermaid that I would watch.
Traditionalists believe that if there was to be any innovation that were happening on these classic iconic figures, they should be more realistic, as if all deep sea creatures are just made of skeletons. I don't know if my man's seen a clownfish before. Has he seen it? What the house? What the fish you named earlier?
A clownfish, a shark.
You seen a shark? Sharks got color. They gray. Whales got color.
Tiger
they blue.
sharks. They got stripes.
what the fuck are we talking about here? But the thought of the anti-fixer, the thought of the traditionalist is, I would rather follow inane scientific laws that I just made up off the top of my head rather than consider adjusting American iconography so that it is more representative of American people. And I would love to tell you people, oh my God, I would love to tell you that the fixers, that the people who believe in more diverse depictions of American iconography have won that war. But they lost. Okay. Because this is how you get the worst rated animated show in history. Had the fixers won, I don't think Velma would be the lowest rated animated show in IMDb history. Yeah. I don't think it's the case. I think if there were abundance of people, if it was more 50-50 like I had suggested before, if it was more of a 50-50 situation, I believe that Velma would be rated correctly. But because the anti-fixers won, because the traditionalists won, because the people who view American iconography as forever white, we must always cater to the white audience in America, we've lost. Yeah. And the proof, go back to that video, the proof is right there. The proof is
also,
right there.
By the way, with the Little Mermaid.
Not that one.
What video?
Velma sucks.
Oh.
The proof is right here. In America, the lowest rated TV show is A Soccer Story. And then above that, we have Velma. I don't know, sweetheart. I don't know. I look at this war, I don't agree with the YouTube video that I saw earlier saying that this war, which they call, which is a result of Gamergate, which is adjusting the target audience for artistic expressions. I don't know. I forgot what I was about to say. What was I about to say?
You said you don't agree with the YouTube video?
Oh, I don't agree with the YouTube video that this is the initiation of a culture war that's happening in America. But I do think this situation, this very strong dichotomy, and you can go onto YouTube and just put up fixers, just type in fixers, and you'll see the thousands of videos of individuals who are tearing down that Scooby-Doo art, who are tearing down Velma, who are tearing down the thought of race bending or adjusting any American iconography so it looks more like diverse people. You will see there is an overwhelming support for people who are traditionalists, even on the progressive side. I've had people, when I've had this conversation with my progressive friends, say, why the fuck would you want a black Velma? Why the fuck would you want a black Shaggy? At which I hear them like, why would I want black versions of white shows? But damn,
right,
you against it? God damn. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it is a beautiful thing to say we should have our own Scooby-Doo. Damn it.
Yeah, right.
We should have our own Scooby-Doo. But we don't.
Right. I'm thinking back to, you remember back in like maybe the 2010s, early 2000s when people would do like the fan art, but they would do like traditional white characters in like urban clothes or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So where does that fall in? Like, is that considered fixing?
I remember the Warner Brothers shirts.
Yeah.
When you see the police, Warner Brothers. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. All the baddie princesses. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, does that fall in line with the fixers, or like, because I don't remember seeing any outrage over.
No, because
like
white people can dress up as black folks until they blue in the face. Yeah. White folks have had a history of dressing up as black folks as blackface. So I'm not surprised to see white icons in black spaces.
The best part of waking up is BeMo